rumors that Epstein engaged in cannibalism. In the conversation, Epstein allegedly tells Allen he didn't just cause heartburn, he ate them, hearts. Allen responds, "Thanks, at least I'm thinner."
Brett Ratner might have just broken character, because from all his confessions and interviews, it's safe to say he joined in those cannibalism parties at Epstein Island. I mean, at least that's what the files and his shaky denials are screaming right now. The media has been exploding over the latest drops. Photo with Epstein and young women, ties to the creepy modeling agent Brunel, and the biggest of the whispers: ritualistic horrors, cannibalism, Epstein hiring special chefs from Eastern Europe to handle the dark side of those island nights.
Francis has time to come tomorrow to show me how to make it. Jerky class, anyone? He will also bring you a taste of his new jerky recipe from the restaurant and sends a warm hello. He is working at a restaurant called Cannibal and Cooks.
And everyone is confused. Honestly, we should, because Ratner has been out here spinning "I didn't know him" while directing Melania Trump's big documentary comeback. People are calling bullshit, by the way.
Here we go again.
Victims still waiting for justice ask if Hollywood lets him slide back in, because trust me, the elite network looks more rotten than ever. All of these started with that photo the DOJ dropped in early 2026. Brett Ratner is seen on a couch next to Jeffrey Epstein, arm wrapped around one young woman as usual. Face redacted, but the closeness is obvious, another woman squeezed in beside them. Smiles all around, but the vibe is way too cozy for just an event. So, the pics from over 20 years ago, Ratner claimed, were snapped when his then fiancée dragged him along. That was his excuse, and it worked, at that time. Another file was released linking him straight to Jean-Luc Brunel, and that guy was a criminal. He was Epstein's go-to guy for supplying models, which by the way were girls from Eastern Europe and beyond, who ended up in the nightmare. That connection isn't random. But Ratner? He still didn't keep quiet. He hits the media hard after the drop, like Piers Morgan, Fox, BBC, everywhere, repeating a particular script. "I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein. No personal relationship, never saw him again. It was my fiance's invite."
As you know, a picture came out of you with Jeffrey Epstein with two apparently young women in it. What is your response to that picture? And what is your response to the wider scandal of the Epstein files?
Oh, well, that picture in particular happened around 20 years ago, out of 20 to 21 years ago, because that is a photograph of my fiance who invited me to this event, and that's where the picture was taken. I had never been in contact with Jeffrey Epstein before that photo, and I was never in contact with him after. So that's a picture of me and my fiance at some event.
He was calling the speculation crazy and horrible, like he's the victim here. But the photo doesn't lie. I mean, proximity in Epstein's world always means something. Brunel wasn't a casual acquaintance, he was core to the operation. Ratner's rushing to explain feels like damage control, especially when the files keep revealing layers, and every interview adds more fuel, until he couldn't catch up. When you watch the Piers Morgan interview, Ratner sat there, voice wavering, and kept stumbling over his words. "That's a picture of me and my fiancé. I never saw Epstein again."
As you know, a picture came out of you with Jeffrey Epstein with two apparently young women in it. What is your response to that picture? And what is your response to the wider scandal of the Epstein files?
Oh, well, that picture in particular happened around 20 years ago, out of 20 to 21 years ago, because that is a photograph of my fiance who invited me to this event, and that's where the picture was taken. I had never been in contact with Jeffrey Epstein before that photo, and I was never in contact with him after. So that's a picture of me and my fiance.
And when Piers pushes, the island visits, the parties, Ratner doubled down, fell back to the old script, insisting it was one event, nothing more. Same story on Fox, BBC. His defensive walls up high. He even refuses to name the so-called fiancé when pressed, just my fiancé at the time. But the stutters, the repetitions, it's giving someone cornered, not calm innocence. Timing makes it worse. All of these are happening while the Melania Trump doc rolls out, a massive Amazon MGM project with a big budget and theatrical push.
Here we go again.
You can come in. Good morning. Patriarch's legacy will be that of peacemaker.
Peacemaker and defiant.
After #MeToo buried him over multiple women's misconduct allegations, Trump's win opens the door for this comeback. The question is, why pick a guy with baggage like that unless the connections run deep? Victims from Epstein's circle still fight for unredacted truth, names hidden, stories dismissed, and Ratner, there he is. With that edge in his voice during those sit-downs, fear is what I'll call it. The 2026 file releases turned everything upside down. Cannibal and cannibalism mentioned dozens of times in docs. It might seem vague, but it's a terrifying hint at ritual sacrifice, body parts, elite feasts that escalated way past the we knew. Everyone went insane. Dissecting FBI notes, threads yelling every accusation is a confession. The outrage is massive because victims' testimonies have long hinted at darker horrors ignored for power. You see, Epstein's Little St. James was never just a island, it was a hub for unchecked indulgence, parties where elites crossed lines into the unthinkable. And it all gets clear. Ratner's in that Hollywood-Epstein overlap. Brunel funneled the talent Epstein hosted. His denials are just dodging the bigger shadow. Cannibal elements were real, as some file whispers suggest. We are left to wonder who walked away untouched. And like it wasn't all enough, it even gets darker. Epstein kept personal chefs on payroll, and files spotlight-trained hotshot cooks who worked for him personally, flew to the island multiple times.
Francis has time to come tomorrow to show me how to make it. Jerky class, anyone? He will also bring you a taste of his new jerky recipe from the restaurant and sends a warm hello. He is working at a restaurant called Cannibal and Cooks.
Emails show Epstein obsessed with jerky from a NYC spot literally called The Cannibal. The irony hits hard. Now, layer the Eastern Europe piece. Epstein's pulled young girls from there via Brunel's network. Special chefs imported for extreme nights, handling coded requests, exotic menus, and Ratner's circle overlapped with events. The special staff fits the pattern. Pipeline extended to every need. Denials protect, proximity condemns. This is most likely the annoying part. With all the information stated, it's clear that Ratner helming Melania's doc is peak hypocrisy. $75 million budget, Amazon push, Trump family endorsement. He's preaching family values while tied to Epstein photos and the network. And Hollywood just shrugs. No major backlash, just quiet acceptance. And looking at it all, it fits the pattern. Powerful men shielded, victims sidelined. Ratner's story screams it. Accused, low profile for years, now resurfacing with elite backing. Justice drags because the system favors its own. As Ratner cracks and stumbles in denials, the truth about cannibal parties or special island setups keeps cracking. This network goes deeper than one director's spin, and until the full drop hits, the questions drown out is this the peak or the start of bigger fallout?